Hello and welcome to Space Shark Teaches. I'm Sean, owner and lead developer of Space Shark Studios, and in this series we're going to be teaching Godot. In this lesson we're going to wrap up the last bit of detail that you need to make your game, and that is making a UI. We are going to be moving the score tracking out of the output log and into your game. But to do that, we have to add some UI. So to start with, I need to show you what a simple way, or what you would think the first way to do this would be. So you would add a node to main, you look at text, and you can say, okay, rich text label. That seems like what we would want. So you go ahead and create that, and then down here on text, you can see the text to enter. So I'm going to say I want score. Up over here you could see, alright, let's move it there. Let's make sure that it's down right there. Alright, and then we would go and add another one for your score later. So that would be one way to think of it, but our score is now fixed in the world. That is because it is an element of the world. That's not what we want. So we need to introduce something new, which is a canvas layer. So what a canvas layer does is it adds a layer on top of the screen. So basically it's in front of the game. Anything on this canvas layer will be rendered almost on the glass of the lens, if you will. So on your eye. And it will move around with the character because it's on the screen itself. So to put this in easier terms, so if we have the label here instead, we say, all right, here's your score, and we hit play. Well, now your score is in the center of the screen, and it moves with you. So it's on the glass in front of you. And this is really important because anytime you're making UI, you have the choice. Do you add it to a UI layer? So in screen space, which means this screen, or do you make it in the world, or world space, which is what this score right here is? And you can do it for both. So let's say you want the player to only see their score anytime they get to a certain checkpoint. You could have a bunch of little score boxes. So another one right here so they can see where they're at in the game. Or let's say you want to make little signposts. But you can always have the one up here if you use a canvas layer. So we're going to be using canvas layers. I'll go ahead and delete that node. And I'll rename this one, and this is going to be score label. So a label in general is something that's not going to change. So because we have score, the score isn't really going to, like, that actual text is not going to change. So we can leave it as score. Now we want to have an actual score, right? So Control D for score value. And we can move that over to here, and let's set this to 0. So now when you play the game, you'll be able to see here's your score is 0. But we can see down here our score is going up. It's pretty easy actually to hook all that up now though. We have, you saw in main script, on coin collected. Right now we are printing, correct? Instead, what we can do is clear the existing text. Let's keep that hooked up for now so that we can keep watching the score and make sure that it's right the whole time. And what you'll see here is that that will clear the existing score. Okay, step 1 complete. Now we need to add text. So what this is going to do is, let's call this Hello World. So now when we pick up a coin, it's going to clear it and change it to Hello World with a little scroll bar because we didn't give it enough room. But that's fine because we're just going to be using numbers, so it doesn't really need that much room. So your first inclination would be, let's just drag this over here, right? It's an integer. We should be able to write it out as a string. In some engines, this works. In Godot, it does not. So that's because this is an integer and this wants a string. So, like before, when we've had an integer and something needed a vector, we come over to available nodes, we type in string, and we find a constructor that will make a string from an int. When we drag this over, we can see, let's drag that in there, drag this up here, and now we're going to be using coins collected, making it into a string, and adding it to the text here. And we're tracking score now. That was it. That was literally all it takes to do this. Couple little caveats. Why are we using clear? Well, if we want to go ahead and skip that, we can watch as add text literally adds the text to the bottom or to the line itself. So it goes and it goes, and now you have a nice little scroll bar that shows your current score. So we need to clear it each time. That kind of makes sense, right? So let's hook this back up and we're good. There are some more things that you can do. You can add an image, a new line, a couple different things in here that you probably won't use. So get vertical scroll to see your scroll bar and then get how far down they've scrolled, for instance, how many lines they've entered if you have a text box that you can put information into, all sorts of stuff like that. And then, just like always, a whole bunch of other built-in stuff. But that is basically it. You now have a UI and you can keep score. So you have everything you need. You have now made a game. You've made a platformer that you can show your friends. That was it. All it took was lots and lots of episodes and then a very short one at the end to hook up the UI. That's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching, and this has been Sean with Space Shark Teaches.